Good evening and welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the panel, there is a link in the info box below this video. Simply click on that link and join the panel to express your views. If you were to join now, you would be expressing those views entirely unopposed. There will be some dead air, unfortunately, during the early parts of these broadcasts, so I will, once I finish my plugs, transition across to some photographs so it makes it easier to scan through to find where the debate begins. So, with one final plug, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the channel, click on the link below the info box, and hopefully I will see you all shortly. We'll go through the two rules. There are only two. If you do join the debate and start to swear, I will ask you to stop. If you continue, I'll ask you a second time. I probably won't ask a third. I'll just simply eject you. If you are ejected, rule 2, you will be simply asked to rejoin the show on the next... Oh, here we go. We've actually got somebody in the hangout. Bear with me a second. Hello, my friend. What's your name?
Call me the Mojo Shop.
The Mojo?
Yes, sir.
Good to have you here. Well, the mic's all yours. You're here to express your views on the shape of the Earth, my friend. Just please do not swear.
Yeah, so, to some extent, like if anybody's interested.
There you go. You go ahead. The mic's all yours. I'm going to start sharing the link for the show and things like that.
Okay.
So what I'm currently doing is just sticking a link in the info box below the video. There is currently one in the chat if you wanted to join. I will also share the video on Facebook and Twitter. If you are currently in the live feed, I'd be very grateful if you did the same and share this video. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat, as this is now running on my main channel, so feel free to use the super chat. Okay, so the join link has now been posted below the video. So once the chat speeds up and those 3 links I shared at the beginning of the show disappear, you can still join the show in the link below this. So I'll give a quick plug for the 14 people who are watching. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. My purpose here, in case you're wondering why I'm quite quiet, is not necessarily to get involved with the debate itself, but to moderate the platform, keep it cordial, stop people from swearing, and eject people if they can't help themselves. So that would be my main purpose. However, obviously, as I do run the channel, I will reserve the right to interject if I do see the need, or express my opinions if I feel the need to do so. But on the whole, throughout these broadcasts, you probably see less of me than any of the people who join. As it stands, we've got Mojo, who's got very, very little to say, it would seem. But as I share the link on Facebook and Twitter, hopefully he'll express his views on the shape of the Earth. We shall see. No pressure. There's a blast from the past. Hello, Jonathan Roberts. Good to see you.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. I'm just going to make sure your levels are good, though.
There's no feedback or anything like that?
No, you seem fine.
Oh, right. How are you? Long time? Long time.
Yeah, it is a long time, Jonathan. How have you been?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm over the moon, just everywhere, really. I've had lots of good things happen to me recently, and I must admit, it's all down to the flat Earth, as we call it. I am not. I'll just make it. Uh, Known for everybody else that I don't subscribe to any particular projection. All I know is that we are not living on a globe blasting through space, which they claim is infinite. Yeah, and I know that it's level where we are, apart from the hills and everything else, the cliffs, the valleys, etc. Obviously, we don't mean, and I hope that people don't think that we actually mean, blank, flat like a piece of paper, because that's certainly not where I'm coming from. I just mean that we are not rotating, and the sun, the stars, and the moon are above us as they appear. I believe the sun and the moon are roughly the same size. I don't believe that. So I'm using the word belief here a lot. I shouldn't be using the word for belief for uh, my knowledge, shall I say, in flat Earth. To me, there is absolutely no denying it. It's perfectly evident for all of us to go and find out and see. I appreciate lots of us have many busy lives. And I am fortunate at the moment that I have the ability to, or the luxury, shall we say, to be able to sit here for hours on end researching, as opposed to being in my 9 to 5 job and then coming home and having to do the family thing, and then never got any time to do any actual research. And often what people do, I myself was actually guilty of what I'm about to say myself to begin with. However, I didn't really know a lot about flat Earth, but when I first got involved, I did the age-old mistake of going onto Google and typing in flat Earth, and of course, came up first the Flat Earth Society, with their completely off-putting ideas of this sort of truncated globe with not water falling off it, but still something flying through the vastness of space. So, obviously to them, space is as it is presented in a heliocentric model, but not really. Like we all know, people who have been in this for enough time know that we believe that they are a government co-opted agency in order to put people off the whole idea of flat Earth by giving them fast information, which is completely wrong. And a very good example of that is their explanation for gravity, i.e., we are on this, I'm going to call it upside down pyramid. It probably is. Probably is what they think with the amount of people that I should imagine that work there are maybe Masonic. Maybe I'm being a bit too over skeptical, but let's call a spade a spade. And I think it is about time that I certainly feel as if the rope is getting tighter, shall we say. And for me to come on air, I've only done this once before. It was with your kind self, but it was a very long time ago. And we were still all in the position of we weren't really sure where we were, but and now with all the publicity, whatever you want to say, whether people say, publicity, whether, be it good or bad, it's still publicity. Yes, I do agree with that. But we are talking about the deception of all deceptions ever. Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing. And like I said, I feel a need now to come on and talk. I'm ever so grateful that you've set up such an easy platform. I know yourself, which is fortunate. Well, sorry, I don't know you, but I know you well enough from watching many a superbly coordinated, and please people don't misinterpret that. Nathan has absolutely been fantastic through my whole journey, which has been over the last 2.5 years, is it now? That seems to be the rough date, whether we want to go into whether time is real or not. But I'd say 2.5 weeks ago. Somebody else has joined the call. Is that right?
So it looks that way. Who have we got?
Yeah. Right. Well, I'll shut up for a moment because, as you do know, I do have a tendency to ramble on. But
No,
hey,
that's the point, Jonathan. That's exactly. You're welcome, mate. You ramble away. You're actually back on your own now. Whoever joined has dropped. He may rejoin, but we shall see.
Oh, I can hear Eleanor there. Yeah, she's wow, the first ever. Well, I say the first ever flat Earth baby. Little does everybody know that all their children are flat Earth children, and everybody is a flat earther, whether they like it or not. In the sense of that we live where we believe. I don't want to use, I hate using that word now, believe. No, it's I know, I can feel it. I know that the earth is flat. Hello, Eleanor. Look very nice there. Look very, very dapper. I know you don't understand what's going on here at all, and that's fine. Little does she know, but hey, she's in the best hands possible. Nathan, I mean, wow, having the ability to, I mean, if I could rewind and, let's say I'd woken my whole family up to this deception and they're all on board, and, my mum, let's say it was 30 years ago, and my mum's thinking, oh gosh, I don't really want to send him to school. And, he gets indoctrinated into this heliocentric belief and all the other beliefs that come with it. Oh gosh, what I would give to have that. But that's not going to happen. We're not there. And all we can do is go on with the future. And she's in the best hands ever, mate. Well, actually, she's trying to get out of your hands now, so you best let her escape, really. Sorry, who else is on the panel? Is it just myself and you, or is that a gentleman I can see with his microphone
Mojo.
off? Or
Got this guy Mojo. I don't know if he's going to say anything. We shall see.
no, no. Yes, I am really over the moon with flat Earth. Over the moon. See all those sayings that we just roll off our tongue, and I mean another good one. I'm not religious, but I think we would be lying if any of us said we've never said the words, whether we're religious or not, whether we've ever said, "Oh my God," or "Jesus Christ." We've all done that. I mean, I catch myself doing it. Recently. I mean, I'm trying to stop doing it because. Not because I don't want to believe or anything like that. There's nothing more I would love than for them, to admit all this. But hey, that's not going to happen. Like Jeranism says, they're not going to hand over the keys to the NASA Space Center and go, well, here, hands up, everybody. We did fool you. We're all on a black. And by the way, the Copernican principle from 500 years ago, we made a bit of a boo boo on that. And yeah, we lied to you with Operation Paperclip as well, these Nazis, they have to have some place to live. So what we thought we'd do is we called it Operation Paperclip, and we shipped all the rocket engineers over to Jack Parsons. I mean, the JPL laboratories. That's it. Yeah. And then we gave them citizenship so they could make the V2 certainly existed, and I think Apollo 11 was going to be their V3, not going anywhere. And I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day who he is on the fence, but he's only on the fence with the moon landings. He can get past the fact that we've been lied to regarding the moon landings. However, he just can't get his head around the idea of flat Earth and what it means. He can't see it. Just like many of us couldn't. I was guilty to begin with. These silly flat earthers flying past. After watching conspiracy videos all day long on YouTube about JFK or the Illuminati or whatever, and then just ending up at dead ends, and also thinking, well, what can I really do about this situation, and how does it affect me on a day-to-day basis? Well, if I look at the JFK incident, I mean, all I can do with all these other things is pass the information on and hope that somebody else does the same, as opposed to sort of just saying, well, there's nothing really I can do about this. Because to be honest, I think that's a cop out, along with the old saying, ignorance is bliss. Well, actually, no. I think ignorance is ignorance, to be quite honest, and I think that's a terrible cop out that people use these days. Oh, what can I do about it, or how does it affect me? Whoa, hold on a minute. How does it affect you? We are talking about the biggest deception ever. It doesn't just include the shape of the earth, it includes also many different subjects. The fact that we've been lied to is the biggest thing. and it's about where we live geographically, who we are, where do we come from, is there more land? To be honest, I don't really care if there's more land or if it's in a dodecahedron, polygon, whatever they shape it is. But I know it's not this blasted ball flying through blasted space. And I'm sure, I think you believe the same, or do you know the same, Nathan?
I don't know. I don't want to be put on the spot. I had this yesterday. I mean, I will give you an answer because I'm the only one here. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's flat. I've titled the show "Flat Earth Debate" because I'm biased. Yes. But yeah.
Yeah. How is oh gosh, don't tell me her name because I've got it right on the end of my tongue. Your beautiful wife's name. Wait a moment. Nathan.
Paula. I won't leave you hanging. Paula.
See, I had it. I was just about to say it. I was, Nathan.
Disgraceful. Yeah, okay. You've met her a couple of times, haven't you?
How is she?
She's good. She's good. Very good. No complaints.
Good. Is she still loving her wall, or
I'd call her an agnostic. I'd say she's open, but she's she's not gonna. Okay. She hasn't put her stamp by Flat Earth, if that's what you're asking.
No. Yeah, that's what I sort of was. Yeah, getting at. There's been. I'm more of a follower. I am. Of all this. However, I mean, coming on here now live, and I mean, obviously, I'm just really. I know you are the you do this very well. I must admit, Nathan. You've got the. Am I right in saying the picture? When you see your I don't know what they call them. What's it called? Your avatar. That's it. Avatar. Your avatar. Did you do some work for the Gadget Show or something?
I did a feature with them and they've interviewed me a few times. I didn't actually ever work for them. I was never an employee.
Oh, right. Regarding what was it?
It's a stereo system that we had. So they did a piece... The one that got onto TV that had like 2 or 3 million not live viewers, whatever you want to call them, real-time viewers when it was aired, was one... I forgot, let me just think the title. I think it was... No, there were several. There was 2. There was one called Money No Object Gadgets, where the host just went round and looked at the top 5 things that you could buy if literally you had all the money in the world and money was no object, and that was the first one.
Yeah.
The second one was like a party hi-fi. I can't remember the title of the show, but they did like a hi-fi for a party and compared like a multi-room system with just an enormous stereo, which I provided, which was my place in being there. And yeah, other than that, they interviewed me a couple of times as well at various different shows. But it was good fun just setting up a huge hi-fi for a party, and they literally took a warehouse and over the course of a day turned it into these 2 separate rooms, these 2 separate party dens, one of which was mine with a massive hi-fi in it. It's wicked, this huge hi-fi. I've still got sort of pictures of it, but just the biggest hi-fi I could cobble together from all the people, all the contacts I had. So I had these giant 6-foot speakers and, hi-fi stuff though. It wasn't like a PA, it was a proper stereo hi-fi, high quality stuff. So it was good fun.
Right. And the other one, would you have preferred, if you were given one of the 2, would you have preferred to have done the other room, if you like?
Nah, because that was a multi-room system. So the other room was like a multi-room Sonos system, which was just nothing wrong with Sonos, but it's just not like 150 grand stereo. You know what I mean? So
how much it is?
Yeah.
Is that how much they are? Blimey.
Yeah, the stereo we put together from was about £150,000. It was ridiculous. It was wicked though. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I do like these. I mean, I think every room should have certainly not. I mean, that's a slightly out of mine and a lot of people's price range. But yeah, I mean, I've always liked the each room has its own system as opposed to feeding it from one. Because you get more tech to play with. But I'm taking you're running all this on your big projector screen.
Yeah. I mean, just to bring this back to flat Earth. So there's various different stereo concepts. So I've just had to rack my brain. How can I bring this back to flat Earth? So you've got things like toroidal fields being discussed in the arena of flat Earth, and obviously you've got amplifiers that are utilizing toroidal transformers, and you've got speakers with obviously their magnetic fields and all of the good stuff that goes on with. Oh, sorry, get off! Ow! So you've got all the good stuff that goes along with speakers as well. So yeah, hopefully we can bring this back onto flat Earth.
On that, a perfect one for that is I can remember doing the test way back. I can even see the speaker now across the room turned upside down, and I had a compass. I made sure it was one of these compasses that didn't rely, because my phone is capable. It's got a magnometer in it or whatever, but it made it that I could have a compass that worked on as not on GPS basically, and I can remember holding that and also holding just a little handheld compass that you get in a camping box or whatever, and going round trying to show my dad, look, it is possible. You could put the North Pole at the centre. Here's, let's just say for argument's sake, I said, imagine it's Mount Meru, because he couldn't, picture anything otherwise. So I built this picture of Mount Meru, and I said, there's been tales, which there have, of, where they've made arrows and they've sharpened the heads, if we want to believe the history that we're told. And I do tend to believe this because we've got evidence of magnetite, which I must admit I had never had any interest in stones or crystals or anything like that, and it was the Globebuster crew, Cami, just sort of got opened my mind a little bit to looking into crystals, and I just thought a crystal was a crystal. I didn't realize that different ones had different qualities, and you could all the things that come with them, and the fact that magnetite grows, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe from the way that Cami demonstrated it, that it grows or forms in a pyramid-like structure. Have you heard of that, or is that me just getting things wrong?
Well, just tell us what you think you know.
Well, yeah, I think that magnetite, when you look it up, it says that it is a crystal that is susceptible. It gives off its own magnetic field, and like I said, sorry, I hadn't got to the point. There's tales of where people have been fighting back in the day, or hunting maybe, not necessarily fighting, and where they've been up near Mount Meru, and they've fired an arrow and it's had a piece of metal for the arrow's head, the point, and it's they've flown straight out the back of the arrow and gone in the direction of Mount Meru, and that was the only way my dad could visualize it, because it's very hard for people to sort of you give them the ball, and then you you take it away from them, but you haven't necessarily got anything to replace it with. And unless somebody has seen, at the time, I didn't have a phone with me or anything. So I did have a phone, but I didn't have any reception. Ironically, we were in the middle of, Northampton, and only a stone's throw away from the nearest tower, walking a dog. And, the further we got away from the town, not the tower, because we were actually getting nearer to the tower than we were to the town. And the signal just dropped and dropped and dropped, and eventually it went. So I had to. This is what I mean about how I had to build something up in his head. I thought I didn't have the ability of, opening a smartphone. I hate calling them smartphones because it implies that, buy this smartphone and you'll be smart, which certainly isn't the case. I know that it means that the phone's smart, but, subliminally or however people will take it. Anyway, so I didn't have that to go on. But luckily, that was something else that I picked up on, and I could keep going on the conversation with, Dad, I don't believe anything has got up there. I had to once again reference the word the firmament, which is absolutely nothing wrong in using that word. He knew what it meant, that he said, the vaulted ceiling. And I said, well, yeah. I said, take whether you believe in the Bible or not, Dad, the people that committed this offense on humanity, they do. And they certainly believe, or they believe in the power to which you can control a nation, a globe, dare I say, or the people that live on that globe. And said to him, look, I'm here and I can't even get a signal between mine and your phone. And, 5 minutes early, we're driving in the car and the GPS is telling us to go this way. And I thought, because I knew that I would bring it up during us taking this dog for a walk, and I was thinking all the points that I could use, because it said to me in the past, it said, oh, well, look, Jonathan, this business, whether it's flat or round, you shouldn't get yourself in a tizzy about it. And, really, it doesn't have any effect on my life or any bearing whatsoever. And I thought, right, okay, well, I'll use GPS. I'll say, well, Dad, it does have a bearing, because you don't use your maps anymore. You haven't got them in the car, and you just rely on putting your, turning your engine on and hoping that that 3 satellites triangulate where you are at every given moment. But then when we're in the valley of, coming back from Wales in a car somewhere, and I can't get a phone signal, yet he can still get, his car will direct him, but it will say also that it can't get a signal. Well, it can't get a signal because there isn't a signal for it to get. It's, it's ground-based positioning, and the next thing I do is look at my phone, and I can't get anything. This idea of satellites and how really what gets me is that this can all be done by balloons, and we know that from I don't know. So I believe that NASA or Nazi NASA or whatever you want to call them, it's only one letter away, really, if you twist around the S. Anyway, we know that's old ground. But yeah, it's said by many that NASA spend more money on helium than they do on rocket fuel. Now, if that is the case, and they say that they release up to 50 weather balloons a day, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. But it could, if we are on what we believe to be on a I don't really subscribe to the idea of it necessarily being a dome. However, that is still not to say that there isn't a firmament, but it's just stretched out a hell of a lot further. I really am one person that does, I look at the UN flag and then I think, well, okay, I know it's an azimuthal equidistant projection, and I'll have my stepfather in one ear say to me, well, the reason they haven't included Antarctica is because Antarctica is not really, there's nothing there. So why would they put it on there? And I said, well, okay, fair enough. But have a look at this, the Kaibayoshi map. I've probably given it terrible. I've got nothing to have a look at to see whether I've called it the right map, but the one with the 33 other 33 other continents outside of the 33 the 33 grid. I often give the analogy of use like the dartboard grid. So I said that to my dad because he didn't know, he couldn't picture in his head immediately what the UN flag looked like. So me saying to him, well, they actually have a grid over the top of it, which is cut into 33 sections, and however way you count it, it pretty much looks like the bullseye is the North Pole. And who's not to say that there may be another pond, geothermal pockets, or whatever name we choose to give them. Who's not to say that we should be looking, instead of looking up, we should be looking laterally. We should be looking out in all directions. And what better way? You've got to hand it to them, really, in one sense, that they've really done a number which does not take long to stick. Only a couple of generations, and from us, from it being people accepting the fact that everybody used to believe that the earth was flat, and you'll have people say, oh, no, that's only a recent thing. No, this has been going on for hundreds of years, and it was only up until we have many publications today, but it was only up until the late 1800s where all right, yeah, he was a Mason, but Mr. Samuel Burley Rowbotham, doing his experiments, which, Journalism is doing a great recreation of that, which I'm following heavily, and I can't wait for the results of that. But, even just such a short period ago, people were really arguing backwards and forwards. And then you've got the majority, 90% of the world, probably 99. We don't know. I mean, how many closet flat earthers are there? How many people are there just sitting on the sidelines thinking, "Oh, well, I've got too busy, I'll catch up with this later." But, not not the right numbers. I'm sure they're not. It's in YouTube's interest to play around with things to get more persons coming onto the
I'm just going to do a
scene.
quick plug, if it's okay with you, Jonathan. So I had myself on mute. My apologies. I was talking to nobody. So I'm just going to encourage everybody to join. So if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to join Jonathan and debate him, maybe even challenge some of the things he has said here, feel free to click the link in the info box below this video and join the debate live. I'm going to transition back across to Jonathan. I'm sorry to have interrupted you, my friend.
Please, no, don't you apologise. It should be me apologising. I'm running on here. I wish
Not at all. You're doing a
come and
wonderful job. Doing a wonderful job.
Sorry?
Doing a wonderful job. I'm listening intently.
Well, usually I get told to shut up. Maybe it's the. Honestly, there is not a. Oh, gosh. I'm just trying to calculate this in my head. There is literally, I wouldn't even say this quarter of an hour goes past in my life that I don't think of something to do with, the flat Earth. It is. I am, for want of a better word, I am completely possessed by it. In the most, don't get me wrong, in the best sense possible. I absolutely love it. It resonates with me so much. I literally, I mean, I get excited about when Globebusters is going to be on. It's I haven't literally thrown the telly out of the window. I'm getting round to doing that. I've got an old tube one that I'm going to drop out and film it as I do it. I'm not going to ruin my big one. There's no point in doing that because I can flick YouTube up onto it, But I'd rather watch YouTube on a device rather than a telly, all that flicker rate, etc. You never know what subliminal crap you might be getting, or I might just be doing it over the top. So the way I look at it is well, you've got an easy way of doing it without looking at the TV. Hey, they might be wrong. People it might all be a load of cockamamie, for want of a better word. But the best way is not to subject yourself to it. Another good one that does have slight play into it is this smart meter business. I keep getting them phoning me saying, "Do you want a smart meter?" Nope, I don't really need one. I know how much electric I'm spending, but they're free. They're free. Oh, okay. Oh, they're free, are they? When I was always taught as a child, when something's free in life, just take it with a whole refinery of salt. My stepfather used to say, and I mean he's right. The ISS feed. It's live and it's free. Google Earth Pro was $299. It's now free. They're literally clutching at straws, I believe. They will have us say, they will tell us, well, it was the algorithms doing it. None of us are actually purely responsible, although we were throwing it right in your face, and now we've got plausible deniability for our Lord Satan. And we did stick it in front of your face with movies. Yeah, but what you forgot to tell us was, there's truth in the movies and lies in the news. But God, I am so grateful that I am not in that mindset that I used to be. I mean, okay, things haven't really had a great deal of change in my daily routine. However, I don't feel so confused anymore. Um, you made, I can remember, I've still got it. You made a video. I had phoned you up first time I'd ever phoned anybody on a hangout, and like you are, Nathan, you picked up the hangout immediately and was like, "Hi," and I was like, yeah. Do you remember me from Oxford? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And there's me throwing the sleeping pills over my shoulder. Um, I had to anybody listening. Don't know how many are listening. Probably me, you, and Eleanor.
50 people.
But
50.
sorry, how many people does it say?
50. 50.
Oh, five. Oh, well, that's not too bad. 50 people. Come on, somebody jump in and have. If there's somebody out there listening, you can't have much more. There's no swearing here. You can't have much more crap to say than what I have. So, come on, jump in. Nobody's going to bite. God, I'm just as paranoid as everybody. Well, not as everybody, as some people maybe. But going back to what I said, yeah, Nathan had made a lovely video. I'd called him up and I basically said, look, since Flat Earth, I can sleep better. I don't need my sleeping tablets that I've been addicted to for 20 years. And literally, I threw them over my shoulder, and that was it. That's the last time I've ever taken them. And the next day, I woke up to a message alert from Nathan, and it was a video for all to see. Just getting across, how it doesn't have to be a negative experience. Any of this, it it should never ever be a negative one, but for a lot of people it is, and they can't see the wood from the trees, and it's a shame because it's quite simple, really. It's not it's not rocket science. That's another one I hate saying. God. There must be a reason why all these things came about. Anyway, God, can't think of, can't somebody else join? This is.
That's all right. It's another opportunity for me to do a plug because is it LLB? Is it LLB store? Has said, can this, that, and the other person be here, and then I'd join. And my reaction to that is all are welcome. Feel free to share the show with anyone you like. In fact, I'd positively encourage you to share the show. So yeah, share. Feel free to click the link below the info box if you'd like to chat with either Jonathan or, I don't know if we're going to get much conversation out of Mojo, but he's here if you did want to chat with him. So click on that link on the info box. We're now running on my main channel, so I can plug my super chat. If you do want to support this channel, hit that super chat. I'm going to transition back to my photographs and hopefully we'll get some more from Jonathan. We shall see.
Well, we shall see, Nathan. Yeah, it gets to a point where I just sort of think, well, I've had too much of it from my family. To begin with, my mum and my dad, just very quickly, my mum and my dad have split up and remarried from the age of 5. So I'm now 40, so they've been with other people for the last 35 years, happily married on both sides. But I will say I live in Northampton, and I've got my dad and my stepmom here, who I haven't really seen for or had anything to do with for over 20 years, and they think I'm absolutely bonkers. They do think that, in fact, my dad was going to pay for me to have a psychiatric assessment when I told him about flat Earth. However, I've got on the other side. Oh, by the way, I'm not allowed to bring up any controversial anything at the dinner table. I'm not allowed to bring up politics because of my anti-disestablishmentarianism. Gosh, I can't believe I got all that out in one shot. Yeah, so I can't do that. But what I do have on the other hand, and I'm so lucky. My stepfather used to work for Marconi Radio, and he used to put up radar stations years ago. Somebody's joined in. Hello.
Been joined
Hello.
by Lewis Hackett. How you doing, Lewis?
Good.
Good to have you
Hi,
there.
Lewis.
Hi, John.
Hi, how you doing? I don't mind. Call me whatever, mate. I've been called many a thing worse.
All right. My parents, they got divorced too, but they were together for 20 years.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And how are they? Well, I don't know your. I think. I think I do probably know your position on the subject.
Probably.
Matt, we're on. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but you are in the globe side. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's cool. But the first question I was going to ask you was how. Well, I don't. You haven't really got an issue with having to tell your parents because you believe in the globe like they believe in the globe. So I suppose it's not really. You can't really sort of go, oh, well, Mum, yeah, this globe business, I believe in it, and so do you. I mean, you don't really get a conversation there, do you?
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about there, yeah.
No. So what do you make of all this?
If I'm honest, it forces me to think that we're not all equal, and some of us are just capable of understanding more than others in shorter periods of time. And that's just what I'm left with, is that some people are just simply better than others, and we're not all equal.
Yeah. Would that, I mean, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, would that be a sort of a way of saying that, some people get the understand things regarding the globe, and maybe us flat earthers have got things just we haven't yet been fortunate enough to understand things as well as a heliocentrist who knows the ins and outs of everything. Is that what you're trying to sort of say?
Yeah, pretty much. That wasn't a bad way to put it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that there are a lot of flat earthers who say that they do understand it, but I think that they're mistaken. I don't think they know. If they did, they wouldn't think the earth was flat.
Right, yeah. So I mean, like basically like me now, sat here now. So if I can put one thing to you then, so the only thing that does it for me really, and which I can actually turn around and say to people, well, actually, I think this one's a pretty good nail in the coffin, is for the lack of curvature. Where is the elusive curvature? Because it's certainly not hiding in the fisheye lens.
That's right. It's not. It's not.
No.
But it is there on literally every single video where somebody is like above 37,000 feet. It's there and you can see it. Just make a new tab, drag the tab down over the horizon, and there's an obvious bulge every time. It doesn't matter what video you do this with.
Oh, so are you even saying that the ones that come back that have a flat horizon, that you still think that they have a curved horizon?
Yes, you have to pause the video when the
Yeah.
horizon is in the center of the screen.
Yeah, I don't mean ones that have been filmed with a fisheye and it bounces up and down and you have to hold. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. You have to, because if it goes up, it becomes convex. If it goes
Right,
down, it
yeah.
becomes concave. Yeah, or the
Yeah.
other way around. I'm talking about the videos that are taken from somebody's weather balloon and they go up to 120,000 feet, and it comes back with some people have done it on a 360 camera, and you get 100% flat, flat horizon that always rises to the eye. I mean, okay, it's not going to rise to the eye of the viewer; it's going to rise to the eye of the camera. But
Well, even
so,
in
what do
the
you think
all
of
of
this
them.
video? So
Like,
even with those ones where you can get a measure and you can put it dead across the screen and it's not got any curve.
it
Have you?
does.
So you've seen these ones, but you still believe that they have a curve.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll show you. Like, have you seen the Go Fast Rocket video?
Yeah.
That's a great example. There's curve in that one, and just
Yeah.
about any
That's
weather balloon video you pull up, you're gonna see curve there too. You just gotta pause it when the frame isn't out of focus.
the go fast rocket's got a fisheye lens on it.
Yeah, but if you get that one at the center of the screen, it's pretty clear too.
Ye- Well, yeah, but so what about these ones that aren't wide angle? They're just a normal lens.
Those show curvature too. All the normal, they show it too. And I've heard people say, well, a quarter has a curved edge too, but that's kind of saying that that curve way out there is the edge of the earth, and we know the earth's a lot bigger than that. So
Yeah, right. So we're not getting confused, and I don't think we are getting confused. I think I'm getting confused that maybe you're saying that the curvature is present because we all see in 180 degrees. So basically, if we turn, we always see in the circle, and we can always see a curve, but that's the curve of the distance of how far we can see, as opposed to the curvature of the horizon. I'm sure that
right.
you don't mean that. I think I've got myself a little bit confused there.
The horizon, if you could see the entire thing, I don't think it would look like it's curving. It is the restriction of our line of sight that creates the perception that the horizon is curving. But if you were able to see, and I think Russia now has some Russia or China, I think they have some 360-degree cameras up there in
Yeah,
orbit now, and
yeah,
you can actually look around on them.
yes, yeah. I did it the other day with NASA. I've got one as well. Yeah, I did it the other day, and you could look all the way around. And can you just excuse me 1 minute, just 2 seconds? I'll be back.
Yep.
I've already found it. It doesn't matter. Um, yeah. Forgotten what I was saying. Anyway, sorry. You go on.
Well, like if you look at a ball that's like all one color and really smooth so that you can't really see features on it,
Mhm.
from a distance especially, it's hard to tell if it's a ball because it looks your vision is two-dimensional. Our vision is a two-dimensional function, especially if you close your eyes. So the bigger an object is and the farther away it is and the more consistent it is relative to its own shape, the more difficult it is for our two eyes to perceive depth in it. So I think
Yeah,
that's important to keep in mind when you're trying to look at the Earth. Yeah, I know you got to take my word on that, but
yeah.
that's
It's everybody's point of view. Just to let us know. Nathan, will you step in and introduce the person that's now come in, if I think that's right? Hello, no, Earth Flattener. Oh, I like that.
Hey.
Hopefully we'll get some
Hi.
What's going on,
acknowledgement.
guys?
I've transitioned across to the photos just in case we get somebody nefarious in with a flat Earth name. Can you say hello to us, my friend?
Hey, how you doing? Hey.
Oh, is it Issa?
Yeah, my name is Earth Flattener. How you guys doing?
I'm going to turn you up.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, a little
Nice to
bit.
meet you.
Sorry, I'm at work, so I may not be able to talk all the time. But hey, Lewis, you said that we have to take your word for it, but we really don't. Can you just share and show us the curvature on the
on a link.
horizon? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Actually, I would like to see that as well. I don't know how to fiddle about with my tablet. I daren't touch it at the moment because the fact that I'm on Wi-Fi hotspot. But I would love to bring up a video of no curvature at 120,000 feet. However, I think we may get the reaction. Lewis may say, well,
Right.
that shot is not far enough away from the. We've only got it in a very small picture, so yeah, let's have a
Well, or
look.
you may see the light that kind of looks curved, but if you actually look at the horizon, it is actually always flat.
It certainly is, my friend. Definitely.
So I've
But this
got a
is,
video.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, now I automatically saw that clip. That's with a fisheye.
This one, I don't think this has a fisheye, but if it does, it'll be all right. We've got a center of the frame that should be easy to find.
Yeah,
Oh, well, why?
I'll give
Just
that.
why a
All
fisheye?
right.
Then stick to the fisheye. I mean, I can already see it wobbling, concave,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
convex,
you're
that
right.
whole BS.
You're right.
Look at
I'll
that.
get
I mean,
a.
but this is for me, like if you had this kind of discussion, it's like I've said before. It's like the ugly girlfriend kind of
I mean,
glasses that you have on. You're gonna
well,
think she's the most beautiful thing, and to me, that's what curvature is. So
right
whether
here,
someone sees it or not, it's always going to be like, yeah, I see it, or no, I don't, or.
right here, the horizon's still below the center of the frame, and you can see that it's curving downwards when it should be curving upwards because of how the fisheye works. So
No,
even
I
with
don't
the
want. Yeah, why do you have to
exaggeration,
bring a fisheye?
right?
Like,
No,
why
no.
don't you
Look,
play?
even with the exaggerated inverse curvature of the fisheye, this close to center frame at this height is still showing curvature. I'm
Right.
just saying.
Well, okay.
I'll go
What?
try and
Without
find
This
being
is
one.
no,
now
this
that
is
you
not an
have
argument though. You're using a fisheye, and that's kind of the
Right,
end of
right. But
this
the
video.
fisheye is working against me in this video. The fisheye is actually working
yeah.
against me
Yeah,
here.
I don't want it to
If
work against you or for you. I just want
Okay.
you to prove
yeah,
that
if
line,
you can,
that flat
because
line that you're talking about.
you've got the ability, Lewis, now to bring up videos. Um, I don't know the title of the video. If you can help me out, flattener with here we are. You're getting close to one. There must be one there.
I'm thinking about changing the search. All right. Well, here, no fisheye
Yeah.
lens. We'll use this one here. This one
Just
says
no, just
flat Earth.
flat horizon at
Can you make it
120,000
full
feet,
screen,
and
please,
there will
Lewis?
be
Can you make it
video
full?
after video.
Sorry,
All right,
Jonathan.
this
Yeah,
one you
brilliant.
can see it's just slightly below the center of the frame, but that's all right. Now let me grab.
That does say flat Earth, high altitude, no fisheye lens.
Yep. All right, now
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab another tab, and there, bring it up. Oh, damn it! You can see right
I see.
there. You can see right there that the horizon sticks up. If I bring this flush to one corner of the horizon, the other edge of the horizon sticking up, and you can tell that this
Yeah,
person,
that's the
this,
that's the hue. That's the hue off the. Maybe hue's the wrong word, but that's the hue off the. That's not the.
all right, I'll
Yeah.
bring it up all the way. I'll bring it up all the way so it's covering over here, and you can still see it sticking up over here.
Bring it
Okay,
up all
so
the way.
you're
That's what.
saying it's convex? You're a
No,
convex earther,
it's a ball.
but
Look,
it's
you can
sticking
it's
up. If it's
but
a ball, it should be
it's
sticking
bulging.
down.
It's bulging up. I've brought the tab up to the very bottom of where the horizon is, and you can still see it sticking up over here. And on top of that, you can tell that the top of the bulge is right here, which means the videographer here has edited the other half of the frame out altogether. The sun is actually in the center of this frame. I mean, this isn't
It's
edited from the original footage.
both both sides are bulging up,
No.
and it's not going directly across. It's kind of slanted. The left side is slanted slightly up. That's why you see that side.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't see it as a ball. I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think
yeah, I
so.
know you
Let's
don't
let's
think
go to
so.
another.
Yeah,
We can go
and
to any other frame. Let's go to any other frame here.
As you do that, Lewis, just to let Jonathan know, I've just popped you on mute, Jonathan, just so you're causing a bit of feedback. If you want to unmute, just tap your phone screen and unmute. Sorry to
So right
interrupt.
here, you can still see horizon here, where it's lower over here. Here, it's gone back the other way.
right, exactly. You're using your eyes, to measure the level of the left side of the frame and the right side of the frame. There needs to be some kind of measurement so you see that both sides are the same height.
Uh-huh.
And what the bulge should be coming
I'll
out
load
from the
one of these
middle
into
is what you
Paint.
should see. You're getting a bulge that's coming out. I mean,
I'll load one into Paint and draw a line across from the
why is
edge
this so
to edge.
complicated? Why
It's
is this
not
so
actually. It's
complicated?
not
It should not be.
complicated. It's
Exactly.
not.
And it's right, but so far it has
There's
been
not. We
very
haven't done anything
complicated.
that's complicated. We're looking at YouTube videos and still images right now.
That's all we have. We have nothing else.
We have a lot more actually, and it is actually all
No,
we
we don't.
need. So,
No, it's not all we need.
all right, let me.
But I mean, you laugh at people who don't believe this, but you don't have anything
I laugh
chambered
at.
that totally
I laugh at a
proves
lot
it.
of things.
But you don't have anything chambered to prove your point. You're just like, you're
Yeah,
talking
I
and
do,
saying,
man.
like, the reason I'm on this call is because initially you said we have to take your word for it, but we don't actually. So I don't know why you would say that to begin with. I don't know why you wouldn't have the
I said
proofs
take my
already
word
ready.
on specific things. There was a specific thing I was talking about, and you're taking that out of context. Stop. Are you satisfied with this image?
Obviously not.
How about that one? That one any good?
No. It's
What's
going to
wrong with
have to
him?
be,
What's wrong with him?
it would have to be a video that shows the camera kind of coming up and coming down and losing its focus, and
Why?
or not focus, but like it needs to be
What's wrong
um,
with these images?
that I don't know if it's a fisheye lens.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's your hiccup,
It
I don't.
has to. No, that's the hiccup. That's the problem with this whole idea that we're on a flat Earth or a sphere or whatever.
Look,
I
man,
mean, if you're trying to make a point that
I have
that
no
it's
interest. I just don't feel like I need to convince somebody whose hiccup is the type
yeah,
of camera being used.
yeah, yeah, that's fine. And I guess I'll take your word for it out of context or whatever, right?
I mean, every single photo I'm pulling up here has curvature.
Yeah. So
Even
the
this one
Earth
here.
must be a sphere. The Earth must be a sphere then, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it actually must be. Not because of these pictures, but because that's the only type of shape that makes sense given all the things that we've
It
observed
doesn't
about
make
the Earth.
sense. It absolutely does not make sense.
It makes
And you
all the
and
sense.
and you said that like
Makes dollars too.
in an earlier feed that was the same live feed. You said that when you were a kid, you pictured everything. You saw it flat and it looks flat, but then
Yeah, then I
you studied
traveled.
it.
Then I traveled.
What?
Then I traveled
Right,
and saw the Earth from different points of view and
right.
realized that it couldn't be flat, or I would expect to see different observations than what I did.
Yeah, but you would not start off seeing it as flat because we are brought
Yeah,
up
you can, and it
knowing
makes
it's a
perfect
sphere.
sense that you do
Well, yeah,
start
you
off seeing it
can.
that way.
You can if you have that mindset, but nobody is given that mindset. It's not
You
an
don't have
even
to be,
playing
you're
field.
not given any of your mindsets. You stumble
Okay,
upon them. You
right.
take them on
Okay.
yourself.
No, you don't. You really don't.
Look at this one from a mountain. Is there something wrong with this one?
Yes, they're all pictures. I don't know if it's a fisheye
Oh,
lens or not.
well, I guess
Oh,
pictures are no good. I guess I'll have to speak
yeah,
a
they.
thousand words for you, huh?
Well, hey, no, you started off with a video, and it was a fisheye lens, and you tried
It
to
was
put it
right in
on
the
screen.
center of the screen. You know that when they're in the center of the screen,
It's
there's
not.
no distortion, right? I paused it in
Yeah,
the
right.
center of the screen. I don't understand what's wrong.
The problem is that your idea of curvature was that it was higher on the left side of the screen. But the
Yeah,
curvature, the
because it's
bump,
they're not showing the entire image in the frame. They've cut it in half. The center of the frame is where the center of the bulge is, and they cut that in half. I think, arguably, to trick flat
yeah,
earthers into believing that the Earth's flat. Because if you warp perception, you can do that. If you zoom in on the horizon far enough and restrict your field of view far enough, you can't see
yeah,
it.
Well, that's
yeah.
quite an
You can
interesting
use your
claim.
words to prove.
So, have
Sorry.
you got any evidence that they've taken that image and cut it in half?
No, I don't, but it looks like
It
they
doesn't
have.
even matter. It doesn't
It
even
does
matter if it's
matter.
been
It does
cut or
matter.
if this has been done to that or
Look,
there should be
if you
so
cut this
much
image in
proof.
half, if you cut this image
There
in
should
half right here, the amount of curvature is cut in half.
there should be so much proof, and you're just like
There is, it's right in
looking
front of
for.
you. You're looking at it.
I mean, you're an older guy and you have
I'm
these
24.
facts. Yeah, you have all these facts and you're
Yeah, I'm a kid,
googling
man. I'm
to
still a
try
kid.
to you're googling to try to find an example of a
You
flat
asked
Earth.
me to
It's
pull
crazy.
stuff up. You asked me to pull stuff up, and so I
Well, because you
have.
talk
And now
about
that
it as
now
if
that you're
it's
rejecting
facts.
what I've pulled up, I'm going to stop entertaining and humoring that.
But I'm so entertained. Come on.
Well, I'm not doing
Keep
this for your
searching.
entertainment, so
Well, so far
leaves
that's
you
why I'm
holding an
on here.
empty
It's because
stack.
this is entertaining. This is awesome.
Well, that's
I love
good.
these
That's good for
videos. It's
you.
great. Nathan, this is awesome that you've done this because I never had the courage to come on and talk about this. I've never been on any video on anything. And Lewis triggers me, I guess you could say.
Well,
Well,
cheers. I'm
that's
flattered.
good.
Yeah,
That's good
yeah,
because there's no need for. I'm not knocking you, by the way. You've done extremely well, but he's just a guy. It's just some guy currently on
Right.
YouTube.
yeah,
So there's no need for him to trigger you, and hopefully, part of the purpose of doing these streams is to show exactly that all these people that have so many conspiratard nonsense theories around the people themselves. This guy's an agent, that
yeah,
guy's a shit, just all crap. And when you actually engage with these people, you realise very quickly they're just people.
yeah. Yeah, it's just sad that like I'm seen as like a flat earther, and people think that I've always been this way, And I mean, just a year ago, my son's mobile A was, all the planets and all that stuff. And his room right now is decorated like a space station. His bed is like astronaut sheets, and
Awesome.
it's crazy, So I was all ball, and I just realized that's not quite right. Something's wrong. Something is wrong, you know.
Well, I
And the
mean,
way you talk and the way you like sing-songy face me, you know, like you give me these faces, but when it comes to finding the proof, you're Googling, trying to find a flat
You guys asked me to
example.
pull things up, okay?
Yeah, and it
Otherwise, I
fails.
would have just sat here and talked to you.
Yeah, and it failed. Well, the reason I'm on is because you're saying things as if you cannot prove it. I have to take your word for it, but we don't. Whether it was out of context or whatever you said.
It's if you're going to take what I'm saying as true, you have to take my word for it. But there's nothing special about
Yeah.
saying that. That's the case with everything, with everybody, until you go and do it yourself and use your eyes, because seeing is
But we
believing.
can't. Right, we can't.
Sure,
We
you
can't do it
can.
with our eyes. No,
But
we can't.
right here, right now, in this conversation, that won't be happening. So that's all I mean when
Yeah.
I say you have to take my word for it. That's all I mean.
But we don't. I mean, you should have
Yeah,
an example.
if you choose not to believe what I'm saying, you don't have to. I understand that.
Ooh.
Natural break, jolly good. So if you'd like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. Simply click on that link and join the debate live. You are free to express your views as you will without any interjection from me. There are only a couple of rules. If you'd like to join the panel, please do not swear. If you do, you'll be asked to stop and then eventually ejected. If you are ejected, you'll be asked simply to return on the next show. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat. And if you'd like to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon.
Peanuts, Clark, I did not vote for Hillary. Ooh, who did I vote for then? I want her.
Well, I didn't vote for any of them because I'm over here in the UK, thank God. Honestly, that's one thing I will just throw out there quickly. I really do feel for the American public and what your government has done to you. It's disgusting.
We'll be all right. We'll be okay.
Yeah, let's hope that you are. Let's hope
We got
that
our
you
guns. We got our guns. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, let's just hope that they don't do some other psyop and come and take them away. Hey.
Yeah, let's hope. We got the NRA gunning for us the whole way.
Yeah.
No
Anyway,
pun
back
intended.
to flat Earth. I was sorry, the gentleman's name that was on flat Earth. No, Earth flattener. Sorry, I was loving it whilst he was bringing up the images, and I must say, oh God, they were that was pretty interesting. I'm glad actually my mic was off because I was just about to jump in and defend everything. And but hey, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Hey.
Yep, like a horse has to be thirsty.
Yeah, that is true. But you obviously firstly, for some reason, you obviously come on here to debate flat Earth. So, can I ask? Because it's always been a big question for me. Why do people who 100% believe in the globe, which you do, would you say, or are you a globe skeptic?
No, it's 100%. Like, I'm as
So
sure
it's
of this as I can
100%.
be sure of anything.
So, what is your number one reason for coming on to the panel and chatting?
Number one reason.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't really think I should be honest about this. But the truth is, when I first saw that there were videos of people thinking that the Earth was flat, I remembered thinking, my gosh, it would be fun to just go crush their confidence. And that's, that is, you asked, so I'm answering.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate to that to a degree because I did mention earlier about how, I was watching conspiracy videos, and of course, in the recommended box, it came up, flat Earth, and I just thought, what? Flat Earth? You crazy? I'm going to go over there and tell these people about gravity, and Jesus. Sorry, done it again, taking the Lord's name in vain. But anyway, or that aside, I'm not religious, by the way, but that aside, 2.5 years down the line, it doesn't matter now. I'm all in. I have watched, and I'm not exaggerating here. If I spend 8 hours a day, and that's a minimum, that's 40 hours a week, so blah blah blah, do the sum. So that's a lot of videos that I have sat through, and I'm not the type of person who just watches a video, finds a point, and then thinks, oh right, yeah, okay, I believe that, without investigation. And I will go off and I will try and find, without the use of Wikipedia. I mean, it's all there in its words. Wikipedia. I mean, how much more in your face can you get, But I will go off and try and verify as much of what the point is, what a person's discussing. And then if I don't know, I will say, I don't know.
Right.
But from all the evidence I've looked at, I am proud to be a flat earther. It doesn't do anything for me, in the sense of, I don't get any riches from it. I don't. My
Right.
channel is just, all it has is all my likes on it. Doesn't have any videos on. And my stepmother said to me the other day, she said, well, what are you going to do with this? Are you just going to keep on looking until the end of time? And I said, well, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I said,
Well, no.
if I have to spend the rest of my life telling people, then, even just saying to people, just go and have a look, start with, whether whether you like the person or not is not relevant. It's what information that they bring to the table. So, I start off with saying to people, look at, Eric Dubay's 200 proofs the Earth is not a globe. As we know, the majority of the presentation is done in such a good way. However, he has just lifted a lot of the information from Rowbotham's work. But hey, it was something I would have never got the I'd have never found that out. That there was, in the 1800s, an argument still raging very fierce as to what shape the Earth was. And then when I hear, sorry,
I said even then Robotham was laughed at. And if I could just respond quickly to some things. Yes, there's a lot of things that flat earthers can say, like Eric Dubay's 200 proofs and all these pieces of evidence. But when you're going about trying to discover if something's true, you don't want to look. Well, you can look for a piece of evidence that confirm it, but you also need to be trying especially hard to find things that disprove your theory. And when you're unable to find anything, then that's when you found something that's probably true. It's when you can't disprove it. And the flat earth videos have a stark lack of evidence trying to disprove the globe. Whereas in school, when you learn about the shape of the earth in school, or you learn about other fields of study in school, they often bring up counterexamples that people have had in history, the flat earth included. So there's a contrast in the two in the two subjects. When you're learning about the ball, they say people have thought this and this and this about the globe, and we finally discovered that this theory has the least objections and most predictability. So flat Earth they do not present the objections to their point of view in their videos, which they should be doing.
However, I mean, these people have had 500 years to construct this mathematical construct, if
No, they
you will.
don't. People don't live that
I
long.
believe. I don't mean one person. I mean, obviously.
Well, I mean, it breaks up the flow of information. So the information's been passed down through generations. Don't you think at some point one of them would have had an honest bone in their body? And
Yes, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and here we are. Yeah.
the number of people that would have to be involved for that conspiracy is staggering.
None.
It's like a third
None.
of the population.
It's none. It's
Not
just
at all.
like Islam. It's the same thing. Where all you have to
No.
do
See,
is take
Islam,
all you have to do is
Islam's
take
good.
one generation and kill their alternate religious parents and raise the kids as Islamic, and they're all Islamic. That's it. It's all the same.
Then
Yeah.
why is the punishment for apostasy death? If it works that well, why do they threaten to kill people for leaving?
Care that you do that shit, dude.
Why did they kill?
You see me freak out, you're like, don't be ashamed, man. Get it, man.
I'm
Can you
sorry.
guys pop yourselves on mute if you're not
What-
talking? You're just getting
um,
loads of talk over and feedback. So yeah, just pop yourselves on mute if you're not talking.
I'm sorry. A lot of that's been jumbled together. I didn't understand.
Maybe it's Jonathan.
Yes.
Jonathan, if you're not talking,
Same
if you
as
just
that.
tap your screen and just pop yourself on mute, it's just you're causing feedback.
I can't press mute for some reason.
There we go. Cool. Of course, now all three of you are on mute, which is brilliant because it means it gives me an opportunity to plug. If you'd like to join this show, there is a link in the info box below this video. So click on the link and join the show live. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is also a super chat, so if you'd like to support this channel, stick some cash in that super chat. And I'm going to pass back over to hopefully somebody who unmutes. We shall see who's first.
Okay. Yeah, the number of
Okay, so
people.
let's get this party started.
The number of people that would have to be involved is too many. Like, if the Earth was really flat, there would be people coming out all over the place from all sorts of different fields where the technology that they're making is required for them. Like, they have to know the shape of the Earth for their technology to work. And these people would be coming out and being like, you know, guys, I'm sorry, there's some stuff I gotta say. And then you're muted, Jonathan.
I've popped you on mute, Jonathan. So just if you wait till whoever's talking's just finished, because otherwise we just lose whatever anyone's saying. So just say your piece, then mute, and then let anybody respond, because otherwise we just get feedback. Sorry to interrupt again.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. We're the people now coming forward. Okay, it might be slow, but we're getting lots of people from all different types. You know, from pilots coming forward. If you were a pilot and you had a job that paid you £100,000 a year. You're also, many airlines are asked for their flagship planes. The pilots are asked to sign non-disclosure forms. That doesn't go for all. You know, if you knew of something like this, or you had suspicions about it, or why would you even question it to begin with? And then you thought, oh, well, hold on a moment. Actually, when I do take this plane up to its cruising altitude, then I level it off, so it is flying level, and at 550 odd miles an hour, the age-old one that many flat earthers, including myself, will bring up about the fact that the plane does not have to dip its nose. The argument of using gravity is not really appropriate. We can use buoyancy and density for that. But the fact is, the plane flies level. You do not fly from Australia, from the UK to Australia. And when you look at the flight, if you got the trajectory of the flight, I think that's the right word, trajectory. If you got all the flight data, I mean, I've seen a few things that have been brought up by different people that have shown air traffic control information showing where the plane goes up to its cruising altitude, it then levels off, it flies straight to its destination, and it definitely will go up or down in altitude. It will turn left or right. However, it does not conform to the exterior of a ball. I mean, it does not have to go down.
It does. It does dip its nose down.
Okay, are you saying it dips its nose down due to the computer
Curvature.
system?
It's
Or are you saying that it's doing it naturally via gravity?
There are a number of instruments on the airplane, and to maintain a heading with the horizon, the airplane has to constantly adjust its nose downward so that the horizon doesn't drop below it, because as the plane flies straight, the ground is curving away from it.
I've popped you on mute again, just because we're getting feedback.
But I have been, until you get that on there or unmuted, I've been on airplanes before, and every single time there is a sense of dropping in the front. There always is a constant adjustment. It never ends.
Right, I don't know. Is that any better? Is there no echo coming through now?
It's just each
Yes.
time you finish talking, if you just pop yourself on mute, because
Right,
we
okay.
just hear whoever's talking. Obviously, you're listening to them, but we can also hear you listening to them because your mic's not on mute. So just pop yourself on mute each time. I'll periodically do it if you forget. Just remember to unmute each time you're going to talk.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying that the plane does dip its nose. Are you saying that it does it via what's called Schuler tuning? Is it Schuler tuning? Yeah,
I
Schuler
don't
tuning.
know the method they use, but they have instruments that detect the position and orientation of the craft, and they use those instruments to maintain headings. And to do that, it requires constant adjustment because the ground is constantly changing relative to the airplane.
Yeah, I agree with that because you've got valleys, you've got cliffs, you've got mountains, you've got things like that which are
Yeah, but the
on the
airplane
ground.
isn't.
But the
The air,
curve of 8 inches per mile squared, if a plane's flying at 500 odd miles an hour, the amount of dip that it would have to be required would be felt in the plane.
it
I'm
is.
sure.
I'm telling you, it is felt. You can feel it. It's very slight. It's less than an elevator. It's like 10 to 15 times less than a really slow moving elevator.
Okay.
It's just
How
barely there, but you can detect it.
Okay, so if we can detect it, if a human can detect it, so have you seen the videos where people have taken a bubble app that they've got on their phone, and they've self-calibrated it, because the factory default, it doesn't know which way down is, and they don't work on gravitational way, they work on inertia, if I'm correct, the accelerometer that's in them. And with a bubble app, you can set it on the runway, and I mean, obviously the plane's got to be stationary. And if you set it as 0, and you're dialed in, and then you fly round halfway around the world, let's say, from where you've gone, there should be a difference, but there isn't. When it turn it back on, it's always ending up 0 if it is on a level surface. I appreciate that, but I also
I agree.
Why is there no drift seen in
the beginning and end of that flight, it should be level. But if it's measuring level based on acceleration and it's changing position, then during the flight you should expect it to be doing all sorts of wonky things. But if you take an actual bubble level on an airplane, if the pilot's doing his job correctly, that bubble is going to stay in the center all the time, except takeoff and landing.
Yeah, and it does. So,
but if the pilot,
if you were flying across a curved surface, it would. If you're saying that the nose is constantly dipping, when people have done these experiments, you should see all that wobbleness and etc. What you've said, but that isn't what we see.
Not if the pilot's good. If the pilot's good, it will be right in at a perpendicular angle to the acceleration of gravity. I know you didn't want me to bring that up, but
no, that's fine.
The bubble level uses them. So if the pilot's doing his job right and adjusting all the time.
You've just said that the bubble app uses gravity.
No, a spirit level, a normal bubble.
A normal spirit level, yeah.
The app you mentioned, no, it doesn't. You're right about that one, and you would expect that one to be moving, especially if you calibrated it on the ground. But a normal level, that's going to be level in when you're up in the air, flying level, that's going to be level all the time, unless the pilot is bad and is just kind of being lazy and letting the ground curve away, and then he'll dip down dramatically, and then letting it curve away, and he'll dip down more dramatically to keep his average height at a spot. But like good pilots who are doing it right all the time, like you won't notice a change in the bubble at all. And if you play a flight simulator game, like where you're flying really fast moving airplanes that go faster than commercial airliners, you actually do have to adjust for this, and the speed and rate that the ground curves away from you is quite dramatic. Faster you go, so you have to dip down, or you'll go up too high in the atmosphere and stall, depending on the type of airplane you're flying.
So you can constantly feel the downward motion because the Earth is curved. But if a pilot is so great, you will not be able to see the change on the bubble.
That's right.
But you can feel it. You can feel it constantly, but you won't see it on the bubble.
That's right.
All right.
He's got a very good point there.
It's not much. You don't feel it very much. It's very, very slight.
Well, yeah, obviously. If you don't see it on a bubble, a precise bubble, but you feel it, you don't believe that. You don't believe this. You don't believe that you feel it. No, you don't. You can't. You cannot.
Why not?
You cannot. I refuse to believe it. But the Earth is flat.
Okay.
The Earth is flat. Without doubt.
So if we go by your logic, we're flying around in a circle and we'd have to be making a constant right or left hand turn.
Well,
and that would cause
we don't travel the entire world.
We circumnavigate all the time.
Well,
We
yeah, but little
circumvent.
by little, from here to there, and it's, you go from America to Germany, and then from
Yeah,
Germany
okay.
to whatever to whatever.
And
You don't
if you add up
circumnavigate.
all the direction changes, it doesn't equal a constant right-hand turn. It equals a more or less straight line.
That doesn't equal anything, because you don't feel that.
Yes, it does.
You can't see
The,
it on a bubble. You're not feeling it, dude.
okay.
No.
Take a bubble on an elevator and see if it moves. That's
If
even
I'm
more
holding it,
dramatic.
is it on the ground or am I holding it?
Set it up on the ground, hold it yourself, whatever. I would recommend setting it up on the ground, but you could probably hold it steady enough. They got those handrails in the elevator. You could just set it on the handrail, make sure the handrail's level, and then just go up and down the floors, and the bubble's not going to change. But you're going to feel the acceleration.
Okay, it doesn't seem to be like we're getting anywhere on this one. We're
Oh, this is
going to
cool.
go
It's great.
backwards and forwards. So, okay, how's about why we can see things in the distance that we definitely should not be able to see things over the horizon?
Well, you only
I'm
see the
sure the
tops of
word
them.
refraction is going to come into this, but yeah, can you give me your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So there is refraction, especially over water. Water causes refraction because it cools off the layer of air directly over it. The air above it, quickly loses that loss of energy, or the air above it quickly has the energy added to it and not taken away by the cool surface of the water. So you get this cool layer of air over the top of the water, and that cool layer of air is what causes refraction to people who are down at that level looking at it. But if you go up, that effect is much less dramatic, or if you look over land, the effect is much less dramatic. But so if you're looking at something really far away, like if you're on a mountain and you're looking at other mountains further away, the reason you can see that far is because you have a higher altitude and the thing you're looking at has a higher altitude. But you can't see all of the things that you're looking at. And, the conundrum for me is like, why can't you see all of the thing from the highest point? Like if you go to the highest point in the United States, shouldn't you be able to see all the way across to both coasts, or at least see both mountain ranges?
No, you shouldn't be able to, because you've got between you atmosphere. You've got dust, fog, sleet, rain.
Right. So how
Yeah.
far do you think that the farthest distance you can see is, barring the horizon being in the way?
Well, barring the horizon being in the way, I saw, in fairness, they were up very high, but the world record for the longest or the furthest photograph taken was recently done, and it was 492 kilometers that they could see. Now, 492 kilometers, you can actually calculate. They have these refraction calculators, I believe, or and we all know that we've got the Earth curvature calculator, and at that amount of distance, the amount of curvature outweighs the amount of curvature missing that there should be. Sorry, do you get my point? I'm saying that basically, regardless of the elevation that the person's at, and regardless of all the refraction, there's no way that people should be able to see that far. Absolutely no way.
Just before you
Unless
respond, sorry, Jonathan, to interrupt. Just before you respond to that, anybody, sorry, Jonathan, just want to say a quick hello to Numinum, who's just joined us. So good to have you here, Numinum. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I got to keep this one brief, but I wanted to read a short excerpt from a pilot's manual. on attitude control in the horizon that I think proves what Lewis is saying is completely, totally wrong.
All right, let's hear it.
So Lewis, if the pilot's manual does disagree with you, would that change your opinion, or do you think that pilot's manuals are incorrect on the?
Sure. Let's see what the pilot's manual says.
Okay. So the first, can you see my screen here pretty well?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to show what we're looking at, this is Instrument Flying and Navigation for Army Aviators, Part 101 by the United States Department of the Army. Section 5, Attitude Indicators. Okay, so I'm just going to read the general, and then I'm going to skip down to another part where it talks about the horizon. Okay, the attitude indicator with its miniature aircraft representing the actual aircraft, and the horizon bar representing the actual horizon outside the aircraft, is the only flight instrument that directly displays the flight attitude of the aircraft.
Yep.
It simultaneously displays both the pitch and bank attitudes of the aircraft. It has no lead or lag in response to changes in the aircraft attitude and provides instantaneous indications of even the smallest change in attitude. Even the smallest change in attitude.
Yep.
Attitude indicators have a device to represent the natural horizon. So you know what they're talking about when they say the natural horizon?
Yes.
What is that?
That's what it looks like when you look out.
Right. Okay. This may be a horizon bar, a horizon line, or a sphere or disc with a line separating a light color, which represents the sky, from a dark color, which represents the earth.
Yep.
A banking pointer is positioned at the top of the instrument face to indicate the banking attitude of the aircraft. A device representing a miniature aircraft is mounted in front of the horizon bar, sphere or disc. On some attitude indicators, this device can be adjusted up or down by a knob located on the instrument case. This is done in order to place the miniature aircraft in the desired position in relation to the horizon bar or horizon line. Other attitude indicators have a knob which is used to adjust the horizon line in order to place it in the desired position in relation to the miniature aircraft. The horizon bar, sphere or disc, and the banking pointer are held rigid in space by a gyroscope so that the horizon line or horizon bar remains parallel to the natural horizon, and the banking pointer remains perpendicular to the natural horizon. This establishes a level reference plane inside the aircraft.
Yep.
The case of the instrument, which is attached to the aircraft, moves with the aircraft as it changes its attitude. In this way, the attitude of the aircraft is displayed on the attitude indicator in both pitch and bank. So the important takeaway from this is that the horizon line remains parallel to the natural horizon. And if the Earth was curved, that wouldn't be possible.
No.
Yes.
It's because it uses, okay, so what I was wrong about was I was assuming that the pilot uses those instruments to manually adjust. But what actually happens is there's a mechanical link between the instruments, and the pilot can set settings on the instruments to tell the computer. Well, it's not a computer; it's a mechanical computer. It's using mechanical functions of a gyroscope to automatically correct and maintain headings. So it's not the pilot manually adjusting; it's the pilot manually adjusting automatic controls.
You're completely wrong, because they were doing this before they ever had any automatic control in planes. This is how they can.
Well, that's what the automatic control is. It's what the automatic control is.
No, spot on. I agree with Numby Nub. Definitely.
You're totally wrong. You're contradicting the pilot's manual, and they.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, because they had these controls before they had automatic attitude adjusting software. They were flying, they've been flying planes for over 100 years now. And when they first built them, they still had to control the attitude, and they had to do it manually because they didn't have computers yet. I don't know if you know this.
They're still doing it manually, but the instruments do a lot of the adjustment for them.
No,
a lot of the thing. Look, I was wrong in how much manual control the pilot has over their heading.
It doesn't.
That's all
this
I was
isn't-
wrong
no,
about.
This is a complete aside. The point is that the natural horizon matches the attitude indicator, and if
That's
the
the
Earth was
goal. That's
curved,
the goal of the instruments. They make that happen by aligning
okay,
the
look at
instruments'
this again, I
headings.
guess. No, the horizon
And
bar
it says it right there, man. You read it.
remains parallel to the natural horizon.
Yes,
Remains
because of what they
parallel to
say.
the
Other than
natural horizon. I don't know. I mean, I think that you are.
you're missing the point of the entire the paragraphs above there.
No, I'm really not. But it's okay. You're just helping me make my point by beating your head against this thing like a monkey, but that's fine. Good.
Don't. It's okay. We're all monkeys.
That's for a different debate.
No, I'm just saying you can look up any pilot's manual. If you look in
That one
any
was
aircraft,
good.
it doesn't support what you're saying in the least.
It
Okay.
does.
Okay, I'll send you the link and you can explain how this somehow supports what you're saying. Like
I already did. I just did it.
Oh, you what? Okay, let's hear you. Let's hear what your point is. Tell me
Okay.
how text. Tell me how this text supports what you're saying.
All right. Construction. Attitude indicators have a device to represent the natural horizon line. So that gives the pilot the ability to line up the natural horizon with the other line that represents the actual horizon, and that maintains the constant heading.
Okay,
It uses the gyroscope, which
let's just back up here for a second. You just said has a thing to match the natural horizon with the actual horizon. So what's the difference between the natural horizon and the actual horizon?
natural is where it looks like it's at, and the actual horizon is where it's actually at. So it's matching what they've engineered a tool to recognize what human perception is likely to see. And then they can just say, all right, human pilot with lots of error, match this up with this, and the plane will maintain its
It
level.
doesn't say that.
That is the point of what's happening there.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
You're wrong.
I mean, it's not like I've used these instruments in flight simulator games or anything.
They don't have any curvature in flight simulator games.
Yeah. Ever played Kerbal Space Program?
No, but that's completely
Oh,
irrelevant anyway.
Well, that's one. That's a flight simulator game that has curvature.
Sorry
It's
to
totally
interrupt,
irrelevant.
Nummies. Can
Oh.
you just stop screen sharing just because it's visually very
Okay.
distracting with with Lewis flashing up and down.
I'm just saying this to anyone out there in the audience. I mean, I don't think
Okay,
Lewis can really discern the
misspoke.
mean. Hey, I'm just saying something. I don't
I
think
misspoke
Lewis
earlier.
is able to actually understand what the flight manual says. But if
Well, I
you
do.
you can look up any number of these flight manuals, and they all
Yeah.
completely agree with what this one says, which is that the
Yeah.
attitude indicator matches the natural horizon always in all cases, which would be
That's what
completely impossible on a curved Earth.
No, not at all. It just has to change constantly on a curved Earth, and these tools are how they do that. They match the attitude indicator with the natural horizon. And
You're not
as
making any sense,
if they,
Lewis.
yes, I am. If they didn't have those tools and they just put the attitude indicator straight ahead, the horizon would dip down. But
Well, then
that
why
doesn't happen because they have the attitude indicator set to line up and follow the horizon. So it's following it rather
says-
and dude,
No.
I don't-
It says that the attitude indicator horizon is the artificial horizon is always parallel to the natural horizon.
that's because they set them that way. The tools allow them to be that way.
And how can the plane be at 90 degrees?
Because of because of what we just read, because the attitude indicator is set to line up with the natural horizon.
Okay, I'll just share the link. I'll try to share this link later in the comments so the people can refer to what we're saying, because this is just a joke. You don't understand what it says.
It's not a joke. You do not understand what it says.
No, I do understand what
Go
it says.
talk to a pilot.
Written in
Show
plain
this
English.
to a pilot. Show this to a pilot and ask them what it means.
I have done that.
And what did they say?
The horizon is so horizontal.
That's what they said. That's what a pilot will say. I mean, I have pilots in my family. My grandfather was a pilot. And
What did he say? What did he say?
He said, yeah, that's how you, he said, he agreed that that's how you align the aircraft to 90 degrees is with the natural horizon.
That's what I said. That's literally what I said, Nummy Num. You use the attitude
But the natural
indicator to
horizon
follow the
can't-
natural horizon.
But the natural horizon cannot be parallel to the attitude indicator's horizon if the
It
Earth is
can,
curved.
it can if there's a gyroscope on there, which is detecting changes and correcting for them
I
to
can see by
maintain
that,
that perpendicular.
by that glib little grin on your face that you actually know you're wrong, and so it just makes me question your motives about why you're here. Because
That's
you're
fine. I
talking
mean,
complete
you can
nonsense.
question my motives all you want.
No, you're talking complete nonsense. And
I don't
talking
question your motives.
with a stupid grin on your face. I don't know. What are you doing?
I'm sorry that you think my face is stupid and you don't like my grin.
No,
You
no,
don't
I'm
like that
talking
I'm
about
happy.
your-
That has nothing to do with this.
No, I'm talking about your glib little grin, like where
Yeah, me too.
You act like you're making a point, but you're
I
actually
am,
contradicting
because
yourself.
I am making a point. That's what.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. And a pilot will fucking totally disagree with you, other than Wolfie or whatever.
No swearing,
because he's
please.
a Glober-
No swearing.
he's a- sorry.
We can get any pilot on here you want. If we get a pilot on here, they will agree with me.
If
No,
we get an on,
I've talked to a pilot about this. They don't agree with you. Every pilot's manual disagrees with everything you're saying.
Nothing in that manual disagreed with what I was saying, except for the amount of manual control that the pilots have.
It does disagree with what you're saying.
I don't think it does.
Obviously does. Okay, here, I'll read it to you again.
I was going to
okay?
say, can we hear it again? Can you read it again
I've
one
read
more
it
time?
twice
Sorry.
now in
The
time that
horizon
we've been
line
talking.
remains parallel to the natural horizon, and the
Yes.
banking pointer remains perpendicular to the natural horizon.
If the pilot adjusts the
This
knobs
establishes
correctly,
a level-
yes.
this
If the
establishes a
pilot
level-
adjusts the knobs-
Lewis, he's just reading. Just let him read, please.
This establishes a level reference plane inside the aircraft. The horizon line or horizon bar remains parallel to the natural horizon. This establishes a level reference plane inside the aircraft. Get it?
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, I rest my case. You can say what you
It
want.
doesn't disagree with anything I said.
Okay, I don't know in what world that is true, but fine, whatever you want
Right.
to think, man. I mean, I think you're helping me at this point because you just sound glib, so cool.
The horizon bar, sphere or disk, and the banking pointer are held rigid in space by a gyroscope so that the horizon line or horizon bar remains parallel to the natural horizon and the banking pointer remains perpendicular to the natural horizon. And that occurs because the gyroscope has momentum. And when the airplane moves over the surface of the ground, it's going through the gravity field, causing a difference in momentum on the gyroscope, which is detectable. And they use that difference to adjust their instruments to maintain headings.
Did you just mention the gravity vector? Brother?
Yeah.
I thought, okay, cool. Because that's what I was going to mention. There's
Give you a quick
another mechanism
introduction.
that they seem to be forgetting to mention every single time they talk about this. And that's the local gravity vectors, vanes. They're air vanes that open up to allow air forces to push on the gyro slightly. These
Sure,
are
the
what
tuning.
keeps it level. This
So,
is what.
This is Grim
Yeah,
V.
yep.
Just thank you for being here. Just wanted to say a
Yeah.
quick hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here, Grim.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks, man.
Al-
I never
also-
heard anybody mention that yet, and I just thought, well, golly, my uncle is a pilot. Why don't I ask him? And he told me. So here
Yep,
we go. I
and
looked it up, and it's true. Gravity vectors, local gravity vectors. There's little air ports near the gyro that actually keep the gyro going in the proper direction because it.
So- But it
yeah,
just doesn't say that
come
in
from
any-
behind or up above or below when you're flying that
How
fast.
come it
It comes
doesn't
from
just? How come
front.
it doesn't say that in any pilot's manuals or any?
It does. You skip the section.
It does actually.
It
That's
does.
how my
Okay,
pilot
show me.
uncle
Let's
taught
see
me
it.
about it. Right.
Yeah,
How-
prove it.
Power sources, sections 2.15, where you skipped right over the paragraph.
Right, that's
Attitude
what I told him. Read
indicators
the
are
next line,
powered
dude.
either by a vacuum suction or an electrical source. The vacuum-driven attitude
There you go.
indicator, 2.6, along with other vacuum-driven instruments in the aircraft, is attached to the vacuum system. This system has a gauge in view of the aviator, which indicates whether or not there is sufficient suction for reliable operation of the instruments. The electrically operated attitude indicator in those sections has a warning flag which appears on the face of the instrument whenever the electrical source is interrupted. So that's how they're powered.
Can I
errors.
just
Yeah,
put
that's
in
how they're
really
powered.
quick?
It has nothing to do with what this conversation's about. Didn't prove
It's-
any.
Well, the
There's
air.
Show me
Can I
where it
just put
says the
in just 1
pilot's manual
second?
about this gravity vector garbage. It's bullshit.
And it
Sorry.
isn't bullshit. There's a great video that has literally been uploaded 4 hours ago by.
Okay, well, why don't you show
Hold
it
on,
to me in a
hold on,
pilot's manual?
hold on, let me
Because I'm
finish.
not interested
Let me
in
finish.
control
Let me
garbage.
finish. That was uploaded 4 hours ago by Wolfie6020.
Yeah, well, that guy's a troll.
Let me- let-
Why doesn't it say it in a pilot's
Let
manual?
me finish. Let me finish, for God's sake. And in this video, he takes apart an attitude indicator and shows you the pendulous veins and how they work. And in his next video, he's doing an experiment to show how they actually work when they're moving over a curved Earth.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that the artificial horizon remains parallel with the natural horizon.
Right,
But
and
anyways,
he shows you the mechanism by which that is achieved.
but those two things can't be parallel to each other unless the Earth is flat, regardless.
No, they
what-
can't.
They can. And I think
Right, I'm just going to transition across for a few seconds and say that this show is going to be rounded out in about the next 5 minutes' time. I will let the guests get to their conclusions and their points, and then I will thank the audience for being here. Thank them for being here. Encourage you all to subscribe, like, and share. And yeah, that'll be pretty much it. So 5 more minutes. If you did want to join to do any last-minute trolling or get any last-minute points in, this is now your opportunity.
Light is by lining itself up with the horizon as seen in the distance.
Well, as
So
I say,
the
this video, it's a 10-minute video. You could go and watch it very easily. I've watched it while this conversation has been going on. You could just go and see it, and you can see how this thing works. And you
But
can,
don't you think it's a little odd that it never describes this in any actual flight manuals?
well, that's
Sorry to interrupt, Jeremy. Sorry, just going to just get this on the feed. Sorry to interrupt you all. Sorry. Could you just name the actual title in full without interruption of the video you've been talking about, please, Jeremy?
Sure. It's Flat Earth, a look inside the artificial horizon, pendulous veins. And the channel is Wolfie6020.
Okay, unfortunately, I have to duck out. I can't stay on here. I'd like to, but I have to go and do some work. So,
are you going to watch that video, though, Numi?
Yeah, I'll watch it. Why not?
Perfect. It's a good opportunity because I'm actually going to round out the show here. So I'm going to say a massive thank you to all of our guests for joining us on this live stream. If you'd like to join future live streams, there will be a link in the info box below the video. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.